Hello everyone, I'm the Unwanted Hero, and today our discussion topic is political views. That said, let's get right into the interview. Today's interview is with Orpheus Kidwell, and if you would like to take an interview too, click on the Google Forms link in the description and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. So, thanks for accepting to be interviewed. Before we begin, I just want to make sure that you're aware that this conversation is being recorded and this will be uploaded to YouTube at some point. Are you okay with this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool, let's do this. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to get to know you a bit, if you don't mind.
All right.
First off, what is your age?
23.
Okay. What about your ethnic background?
Mixed, Caucasian and Cherokee.
Oh, interesting. What's your gender?
Male.
Cool. Do you take part in religion?
No.
And what do you do for a living?
Currently, I'm a student.
Student?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, and secondly, I'd like to know, what general groups you're a part of. So, with that said, what's your political stance?
In terms of politics, I am somewhat of a hybrid of classical liberalism and civic nationalism, I would say.
Okay, so, do you mind explaining that view a little bit?
Yeah, so essentially, I'll explain the civic nationalism first. As opposed to something like ethno-nationalism, I believe that anyone that assimilates into American culture is just as much, assuming they've gone through all of the necessary steps to become a legal citizen, has just as much right to be a citizen of America as someone born here, regardless of ethnicity, religion, anything like that. And I also believe that individuals are tied together based on the nation that they live in. So I guess that's the simplest way to explain that part. In terms of classical liberalism, I am in favor of free market capitalism and smaller governments. I'm quite in agreement with, say, constitutionalists, more so than the other political parties that exist right now. Though I am not a libertarian, very specifically, because I am not anarcho. I do believe that a state is still necessary, just that it should be the smallest possible in order to perform its duties.
Okay, that makes sense. So, kind of like federalism then, or?
Not so much, because I do think that the government should be as decentralized as we can get away with. That the federal government should serve mostly as a intermediary when there are disputes between the states, and that the states should be given more power, and the states are there to serve as intermediaries in disputes between counties and so on and so forth down to the city level.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Let's see. So, why did you come to believe this?
Let's see. Well, I was apolitical for a very long time, probably until 2015. My family has always been very tried and true Democrat. And so I grew up with that, sort of with this tangential idea that, Democrats good, Republicans bad. Then the first time whenever I went to university, I started getting a little bit more interested in politics. and started doing some reading, doing some research. And I guess I sort of found myself in a situation where I didn't really like any of the Democrats, but also didn't like the Republicans. And so I went through some of the more major political channels on YouTube, Sargon of Akkad, Six Hex and Hammer, things like that. And I found myself agreeing with some of this stuff. I do think Sargon has influenced quite a bit of my political viewpoints, though there are several things I disagree with him on. But I'd say probably he was most responsible for me starting down the path, though I strayed away from him probably around 2017 and started pushing down my own belief system.
Cool. So what about, do you get any criticism for your views then, or do you know like which groups that criticism's from, or?
Well, I can tell you that the socialists don't like me, and the monarchists don't like me, and the fascists don't like me. No one in my family has any agreement with me on my political views. I have a few friends that do, though one of them is more of a closer to a libertarian. But most of the people that have any sort of common ground with me tend to be centrist, regardless of where they stand on the political compass, I guess.
Okay, and what would you like to say to those who oppose you?
Probably that the government's never. Let me think how to phrase it. The government always seeks to give itself more power inherently, and on top of that, bureaucratic strain and bloat always causes them to be both inefficient and corrupt. Therefore, a decentralized republic, simply looking historically, makes the most sense in order to keep the citizenry as free as possible.
Cool. Thank you for your time. And lastly, is there just anything else that you'd like to say, just in general, or any questions for me or anything, or the audience?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Cool. Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me.
I'm pretty much always free if you need me for anything.
Perfect. Well, I look forward to talking with you again sometime. And that's pretty much all. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and support us in our efforts to open the minds of those online by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thanks again, and stay yourself.